This is the story of me, places I've lived, schools I've gone to, places I've worked. So it starts in Central California, a couple hours south of San Francisco is a city called Salinas. And as you can see here, it's a pretty small city surrounded by lots of farmland. I was born at the Salinas Valley Memorial Hospital on March 6, 1979. My family lived in Salinas for about a year after I was born, and then we moved about an hour's north to a town called Gilroy, California. As you can see, it's smaller than Salinas and surrounded by farmland and mountain ranges. Not a very big place. So when we moved to Gilroy, we lived here in this house. And back then, I can remember when I was growing up, everything south of our house was all fields. There's a big apartment complex there now. I can remember they just started working on that right before we moved, about 9 or 10 years later. I can also remember one of my best friend's house was a little ways away up on this hill. And back then, again, everything behind his house was all just mountain. There's no more houses behind him, and I can remember going back there and spending a lot of time up on those hills playing around. First school I went to was Los Animas Elementary School, which was located here. They since closed this one down and moved it somewhere else. But I went here until the 4th grade. And then in '89, my family moved up to Vancouver, Washington. Which was quite a ways north. And first house we lived in was in the Cascade Park area. You can see it here. We lived there in this house for about a year, and then we moved just a few blocks away into the second house. And I lived here until I was through high school. So when we first moved up, I had to finish elementary school, which I did here at Riverview. And then after elementary came junior high. Back then junior high was grades 7, 8, and 9. So I spent my time here. And then after junior high, moved on to Mountain View High School, where I graduated in 1997. Then after high school, I got into construction as a framer and a finish carpenter, and pretty much worked all over Vancouver. All the way far north is Ridgefield. Built a house out in Carson, which is about an hour east of Vancouver, and went and worked on a house down Lake Oswego. So kind of went all over the place around Vancouver. Eventually moved into my third residence here, which you can see here, just off of 205 and Patton Parkway. So I spent about, 8 or 9 years working construction after high school. about that time, the housing market started to drop, and work started to get slow. So I had a opportunity to work with someone down in Los Angeles, California. So I moved back down to California. Next, near the Los Angeles area. When I moved down there, I moved to Torrance, which is just southwest of downtown LA. Pretty close to the beach. I really liked living down there. Weather was nice. There's just a lot of people down there. So when I moved to Torrance, I moved into the Shibuya apartments. When I moved down there, I found out it's extremely expensive to live in Southern California. I was living in a studio apartment for what you could pretty much rent a house for up in Vancouver. So the employment opportunity I got was with iLighting Solutions, which was north of Torrance in Gardena, California. And what we did there was, it was a program with the Edison Power Company down there. And what we did basically was go around to multifamily buildings all around Los Angeles and change all their lighting out with energy efficient fluorescent lighting. And for that job, pretty much went everywhere around Los Angeles, as far north and northwest as Thousand Oaks and Simi Valley, as far east as San Bernardino, and we got down to Irvine and Huntington Beach as far as south. So pretty much worked all over the place. Worked in hundreds of apartment buildings changing light fixtures out. And then that program lasted for about 3 years. And then the funding ran out, so they ended the program. So after that, I moved down to Oceanside. Lived there for about 6 months. Really enjoyed that. Really close to the beach. It's a really nice place to live. Nice weather all year round. So after living in Oceanside for a few months, my options were go back to construction or find something different. And I figured, well, best thing to do is go back to school. And I didn't want to go back to construction, so I decided to go back to college. And I moved back up to Portland, Oregon, to go back to school, since it was so expensive to live in Southern California. So I moved back up here to Portland. Currently living here in this house. It's about halfway between 205 and I-5, just across the river, just south of the airport. Been living here for a few years now, and decided to go back to school, so I'm currently going to WCU Vancouver.